him. Pay that man his money.
Welcome to Movie ReWined. For those that aren't familiar, we drink some wine and we review a classic movie. For you guys today, we have Rounders, a 1998 cult classic starring Matt Damon, John Turturro, Ed Norton, John Malkovich, Gretchen Mol, star-studded cast, and came out in 1998, reached cult status in the poker community in the early 2000s. And we try to do something topical when we talk about movies here. The World Series of Poker Final Table is this Thursday, July 17th. And so I figured one of my favorite movies of all time, let's do the rewind. I actually accidentally brought it up last podcast just out of nowhere, and that's what kind of started everything. And with me today, it was an easy choice. This man showed me this movie when I was 8 years old. Is definitely a member of the Rounders cult, taught me how to play No Limit Texas Hold'em, and does a decent impression of most of these characters. My brother, Chuck.
Let's play some fucking cards.
Endlessly quotable movie, especially in the poker community.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is probably one of the most quoted movies in my circles. A cult classic. One of my favorites, as you said. I feel pretty in touch with this era. I was a pretty big card player back in the day. You know, I'd even say it was my passion in life at one point. So yeah, cult movie, probably one of the biggest cult movies the last 30 years, and only grew as the poker boom took off, right? And I'm the cult. So here we go, baby.
Yeah, and so give a little context to the poker boom here. This movie came out in 1998. The poker boom happened in 2003 on the back of Chris Moneymaker winning the WSOP. Lasted, if you look at the Wikipedia page, they say it lasts 4 years, ending with the 2006 World Series of Poker, and then Paradise Poker or Party Poker going out of business or getting shut down was kind of the so-called end of the poker boom. WSOP went from about 500 people in the main event to well over 8,000 by the time Jamie Gold won in 2006. Though poker, No Limit Texas Hold'em is still just as popular probably as it's ever been. Last WSOP in 2024 actually broke the record for most entries ever. Chuck, you were older than me when the poker boom happened. Want to just give some context about exactly how all of that shook up and how Rounders kind of fell into the shuffle?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. Rounders would predate the poker boom.
Yes.
The summer of 2003, a man, ironically by the name Chris Moneymaker, won the World Series of Poker. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry at home, whether you were my age, 16 at the time, or, you know, probably your dad's age or whatever, we were all playing poker. It literally was almost a made-for fairy tale display, seeing a guy named Moneymaker win the top prize, I think $2.5 million at the time.
$2.5 million.
And, yeah, it really took off from there. You know, this movie does predate it, which is just wild. And it's, you know, this movie really is a love letter to poker that was kind of 5 years too early, it seems like. And, this movie did take a life of its own. It was the perfect movie just to put on while you were playing a home game with your buddies, whatever. But it really, I mean, it became a lot of our just, you know, favorite movie. It's quotable, and we'll get into it. It's good.
Yeah. Do you know the hand that Chris Moneymaker won the 03 World Series of Poker with?
I should. I think 5-4, maybe suited. 5-4 over Sammy Farha, one of my favorite players. Maybe Sammy had a weak ace.
5-4 not suited, but yeah, that's pretty dang good.
5-4?
5-4, yeah. That's pretty sick. I figured you were gonna get it. That's why I asked you. I don't want to put you on the spot and get it wrong. Yeah, I mean, I was like 8 at the time, but yeah, the 2003 World Series of Poker was well edited, made for TV. Those hot summer days, they played it like nonstop on ESPN2 all summer long. It seemed like, and the rest is history. You look up the poker boom on Wikipedia page, and the first sentence says that Rounders didn't necessarily start it, but it kicked. Yeah, it started it. It didn't necessarily, it put down the powder keg for Chris Moneymaker winning in 2003 to explode it, if you will. And then people kind of went back and watched it after the fact because this came out a year after Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon was already a star at this point. Ed Norton would come more to prominence. This cast is just loaded in general. And it's
Ed Norton was nominated for an Oscar the year his first Oscar the year this movie came out.
Wow. Yeah. So
I actually did notice that. We had Matt Damon won for Good Will Hunting the year before. Being John Malkovich came out the year after, and Edward Norton was nominated for American History X the year of.
Yeah, a bunch of really good actors at the top of their craft when this movie came out. Well, I think that was good background here. If you haven't seen Rounders, great movie. I think almost anyone would like it. It is on Canopy. If you have a library card, you can get that for free. It's also on Paramount Plus, and it's about $5 to rent on Amazon. What'd you say?
I watched it on Paramount Plus last night for the first time in a while. I mean, you know.
Well, there you go. All right, let's get into the movie.
Listen, here's the thing. If you can't spot the sucker in your first half hour at the table, then you are the sucker.
Just like a young man coming in for a quickie.
Rule number one, throw in your cards the moment you know they can't win. Fold the hand.
Let's play some fucking cards.
Just like the saying says, you know, in the poker game of life, women are the rake.
You don't even smoke, worm.
Stones. You little punk. I'm not playing for the thrill of fucking victory here. I owe rent, alimony, child support. I play for money. My kids eat. I got stones enough not to chase cards, actions, or fucking pipe dreams of winning the World Series on ESPN.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Oh, I should mention, I am drinking a Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola, Pinot Noir. His winery is like 30 minutes from here. I actually wanted to go to the actual winery, but yesterday I got a flat tire, Chuck, picking up this mic, and I changed my flat tire by myself.
Unbelievable. I would have bet against that.
I know. You should have.
Intended for the Rounders.
No. You should have. The first time I ever changed a tire. Guess how long it took me to change it?
It took you 1 hour and 15 minutes.
From the time I opened my trunk to the time I drove away was about exactly 90 minutes. Hour 15. That was really nice of you. It was really nice of you.
Not bad.
What got me is one lug nut is different for security reasons, and there's an adapter in your glove box. I never knew that. Never knew that. It's crazy. That
is interesting. I feel that's the kind of thing I was taught at one point, but if that moment comes, not reliable.
It's one of those things where you like to think that you'd be capable of doing it, but then like all of a sudden it's go time and you're like, dang, this really, really sucks. Let's get into this movie, Chuck. This was probably the first time I saw this movie in well over 10 years, I think. I was not, I don't know if I was even in high school last time I saw this movie.
I'd say similar time range for me, maybe 10 years. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Time flies, right?
Yeah.
And your favorite movies you don't watch sometimes.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, I'm kind of confused what took me so long to rewatch this movie, because I've always thought it very highly of it. I just didn't get around to it, but it was a really fun rewatch. I will say that I was a little nervous getting into it, that it wasn't going to necessarily age as well. You know, a lot of nostalgia to it. Especially with, like, how poorly cards are usually, poker especially, Texas Hold'em especially, are portrayed in movies. I was kind of worried that this movie was going to have some cliches and just some bad poker scenes. And then I was just worried that, like, the characters weren't going to necessarily be as compelling and as interesting now that I'm older. But I was wrong. This movie still rocks.
This movie rules, man. I'm totally with you on that. It's pretty fascinating, the cast as we hit on, and I mean they are just, I mean, the chemistry's off the charts, man. Just really good stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't know this movie was noir at all.
Sure. It's arty. It kind of did. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I did kind of feel that. I agree.
Very weird. I just don't remember that. I liked it, but it's just very interesting.
Right, yeah, 16-year-old me watching it for the first time, and whatever. Like 20 years later, I agree. It did take me a little off guard about it. It's just like this movie's awesome, man. This is like a really artistic piece of filmmaking, and it's too bad that it wasn't a domestic hit. Like I think it did 23 million domestically. Definitely just a sleeper, cult.
Yeah, and the voiceover and stuff. Yeah, it's like a detective movie from 1950. He's doing those voiceovers.
64% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it premiered at the Venice Film Festival, but yeah, only 23 mil on a $12 million budget.
It did feel like there's definitely high hopes before it, man. This wasn't just some dredge, man. This was not just some sporting movie just thrown together.
For sure. I mean, especially with that cast, like they were absolutely going for it. All right,
the voiceovers. You did mention the voiceovers. We can get in that a little bit. That was one of my biggest takeaways. On the rewatch here was how good those voiceovers are. You got Matt Damon doing a very good job. It all fits in. He's a lot of random quote from poker players. Amarillo Slim Preston. That's a really cool part of the movie. I think some of the quotes being a huge poker guy. Some of it does feel maybe a little dumbed down and kind of like for the audience that maybe never played poker before. Some of it kind of like I chuckled to myself, maybe borderline on a bit cringe. But that was my biggest takeaway probably here in the rewatch, how much I did like those voiceovers.
Yeah, I would say the first 5 minutes of this movie is all voiceover of Damon kind of going through a New York poker room and kind of setting up a lot of the characters. KGB, playing by Malkovich. John Turturro's character is slipping my mind right now. You get introduced to them, and you get introduced to that, of course, and he's gambling all his money to the opening hand. And we get KGB, who's just a fascinating villain off the rip in a pretty greatly done heads-up hand. From a cards perspective, what do you think of Damon losing it all on that hand?
That would be the kind of hand that you'd lose it all on, man. We've all been in that spot. That's a very low percentage. You're getting it in with. That's a spot you are putting all your chips in no matter what. Pretty.
And I think it was Two of a Kind versus. No,
it was Full House versus Full House.
Full House. Yeah, had the higher Full House.
The iconic Ace-9 of clubs, the rounder's hand, as we would refer to it the rest of our lives. Nine's full does not beat aces full. The hidden ace is tricky, and yeah, he saw the fucking mirage, man. And
yeah,
bingo busto. You can only lose what you put in the middle. So it's one of those spots where if you get the cold deck, you're gonna lose. It's going to the middle, man. All three stacks of high society. But I thought the poker, even for someone who's really into poker and sees it, I don't think that was like overly bad. There's movies where you see baseball and sports played, you're like that's pretty bad. It's really dumbed down and bad. But I mean, poker's probably a little more easier to maintain, I guess, to execute rather. And yeah, I think they did a really good job with that. John Malkovich, you're introduced to that character early on.
No, yeah, no. The thing is that there's a lot of tropes, right, that you see in poker and movies. A lot of splashing the pot. Spoiler alert, Chuck. I know you haven't seen it yet, but F1 has one of the worst shot poker scenes I've ever seen in my life. All the tropes.
I saw F1 Monday.
Oh, how bad is that poker scene?
Very bad. Right down to the point we're gonna play some Texas Hold'em. Like really? Like come on.
And they're splashing the pot. You could never tell who has what bet in. Oh, it's just horrible.
That was rough.
And there's
a lot of Casino Royale, right? Isn't there?
Yeah, yes, but I think
it's stupid. It's always like, yeah. The funny part about it is it is usually like some monster hand, in a cold deck, just getting nuts versus the second nuts.
A lot of slow rolling typically too. I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're like, I'll see this bet and see here. I got another 8 to 10,000 to raise you. That you get that, but that's I think that's more played up for the novice. Like you see that all the time. I see your raise, and I'll bet that's a string bet that's illegal. You'll never be able to do that in any respectable card game or casino.
Get your arm broke.
So a little bit of that,
You get a little bit of that, but I do think that there is a splash in the pot scene, but they actually call out the character for splashing the pot. KGB, right?
I don't think it's early yet. That's KGB at the end. He's on tilt. That's playing aggressive due to frustration, and he's just splashing the pot.
Yeah, we're going a lot of order here, but I think just talking about the poker off the rip, very believable. Worm slows rolls somebody at one point, but they call him out for it.
But maybe just a little bit. I'd give him like a strong B+ on their realism of the game of poker, I'd say.
Yeah, and the thing is, Nolwenn Texas Hold'em, from my understanding, it wasn't really popular at all at this point in time, right? Like,
that is what's kind of weird, and why it's like this movie's like before its time. Like it really is just, it is for the poker player, man. This movie was made for 6 and just like be a blockbuster.
Yeah. Well, that's a good summary on the poker. I think we both think that it's done pretty well. Now we can get into a timeline of events here. Kind of the first thing I want to start off with is that I kind of misremember the timeline of events. For some reason, when I was younger, I thought that the girlfriend breaks up with him right after the first scene.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she stays together for a long time. I also hated her when I was a kid. I don't know if I was just misogynistic as an 8-year-old. She's so great and like understanding and gives him so many chances. That really changed my outlook on her as a character. But
yeah, I guess Reese Witherspoon was busy. She couldn't do that role, but Gretchen Mol does a great job in that role. I agree.
Yeah, she really wasn't anything else after this, was she?
I couldn't recall, but you're right. She is good, and yeah, the development is definitely there, right? Mike doesn't show up to some sort of lecture or some sort of meeting like with
their debate team or something. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like it paints Mike in a worse light, but I mean, I guess we'll get into spoilers, but it sets up.
So essentially,
yeah, that actually, watching the World Series of Poker in the early 2000s, you would hear plenty of college age kids dropping out of school. I mean, very, very smart people, because guess what? They can make more money on their laptop playing online poker on Poker Stars and Full Tilt. So that was a real thing. I'm not saying it was like an epidemic or something, but that there were people who followed that trajectory, and I'm sure it worked out for them too. A lot of them, some of the stars of the game, the rising stars back then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's believable in that sense, kinda. He's a little bit over the top, but it's believable in that sense. But anyways, so loses all his money and has to start all over again, but essentially gives up poker for the rest of his life, and so he says, and starts driving a box truck for Tony Ganash's character, Tony Kanish's character. Starts driving a box card for
Joey Kanish.
Joey Kanish. I want to say Tony.
Kanish.
Joey Kanish starts driving a boxer for Tony Kanish, and
still got the truck. He still had the truck. So now he's an honest man. He's working.
Yes, honest man working, and then in comes Worm, his childhood best friend, who's in and out of prison, a real con artist, and we get introduced.
The biggest degenerate in movie history?
Maybe. And so we get introduced to this iconic character, Worm, played by Ed Norton, he's just dominating the screen left and right. And really, he's a tour de force. Like, the minute he comes on, everything just gets revved up to 10, and he gets into...
Yeah, man. I mean, O'Rourke, he was born to play or something, dude. Talk about playing that role and also playing... his role in American History X in the same year. There's some range for you.
Yeah.
Worm is truly one of my favorite characters of all time. He's unbelievable.
And he's just a degen from the rip. Yeah, well, let's get into it, because the first scene, so it takes place in New York City, right? So they're playing all these like dive poker rooms that are like underneath these buildings.
Probably non-raked illegal games, I imagine, that still exists to this day, especially, in a city like New York.
Yes, but also there's way easier to get action now in present day than there was back then. This is probably the only way you could get real action in New York City.
Great point.
Yeah, with online gambling now, easier to get action. But anyways, deal like a mechanic. You want to take that? Because I mean, basically the first scene he goes in there and starts.
I mean, we can hit on that. I mean, he is literally you got it's a contrast in styles, right? You got Mike McD who wants to play the game straight up. He's your pretty boy. He's the a good player. Worm is that he shows the ugly underbelly of the card scene, right? There's cheating. He'll do anything for money. The scene starts off. He gets out of jail. What does he do? He goes straight to a card room, and which feels like overnight. Playing till probably God knows what, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. We've all been there. And he takes a $2,000 loan. He makes some money. A little skeevy. He's doing his tricks. And instead of just giving that $2,000 that he got in credit from I can't think of her name, but he takes it. So he makes he's not even giving that money back. He's always looking for an edge, right? He doesn't want to play the game straight up. To your point, yeah, I mean they're road games, right? They're tricks. Mike poses as the guy who's making the money, and Worm's the one who's feeding him cards, feeding him chips, working off each other. And to Mike's thing, we can get into it. The mechanics grip is essentially, you don't necessarily see it the whole time, but it's what he's doing. He's manipulating the game. He's cheating. He's dealing off the bottom of the deck, and it's slang for being a mechanic. Instead of kind of imagine you're holding a deck of cards like you normally do, and you're just kind of throwing them out to everyone at the table. It's more of the top card or top hand goes over the front of the cards, and you're kind of just like you're rapid fire, kind of pulling them out. Like I'm trying to think like you'd pull Kleenex out of a box, as opposed to just kind of like you're throwing rosebud or something. Just nice and easy, like a frisbee.
Yeah.
So that's it. They catch him with the mechanics grip, man, and we caught a hanger sarge. What does that mean? Can we get into that?
Well, let's get into the first cash game, the one that goes well, with the wealthy friends of Worm's lover or almost lover.
I don't think there's anything there. I think I was just Worm being silly.
I mean that scene's awesome. You see them, you see how they operate. This is Matt Damon.
A very easy layup, a very easy target.
I just say Mike McDermott's his name, which is funny. I didn't realize that. I never knew that.
Mike McDermott.
Mikey McD.
Yeah, they find the soft game, and that just kind of it triggers everything, right?
Yeah.
Throws that card in reverse, and the rest of history. He's back, baby. And it just kind of shows them I guess they don't show you as much some of the intricacies, but it's all implied that
Well, Worm's intentionally losing.
Worm is intentionally losing, looking like the sucker. Two guys don't know, one's winning, one's losing. They come in at different times into the game, introducing each other like they never met, before. That's clearly part of the con.
Yeah. And all of this is going to foreshadow something that's going to happen a little later, which is probably the best scene in the movie. But he gets back into it. It seems believable up until that point.
That's kind of Now we're starting to get into it.
So it kind of sets it all up. It makes it really cool that they do that. I mean, Chuck, have you ever? You guys have probably, as you guys were kids, you guys probably pretend that you were doing shit like that. But I mean, this is like aggressive degen behavior, especially rigging cards. Maybe playing soft at a cash game, right, is something.
Time and a place for everything, absolutely. But I mean, for these guys, this is like their jobs, their livelihood. Like, generally speaking, I was way more Mike McD than Worm.
They are scary degenerates. How they are just always talking all-night sessions and not sleeping and all that stuff.
We've been there, man. I some of my most memorable times, man. I remember walking out fucking a game in Kirtland that some guys I met that night, and yeah, man, we played till like 8 a.m., going home, not sleeping, after making a nice little chunk, dude, like that. Hey, man, 6-year-old me, man, that was the biggest passion I had, so, yeah. Relatable film.
We didn't mention, if you can't spot the sucker in the first half hour, you are the sucker. That's like the opening quote. I didn't realize that was the opening quote. And it's so iconic. Is that from this movie?
He's quoting, you could probably look it up. He's quoting a poker quote, an old-timey thing.
Okay.
Clearly popularized. When you hear someone saying it, this is where they got it from,
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. On Reddit, it says that it's actually from this movie. So, but yeah, I mean, iconic.
The judges game is pretty funny. It kind of shows you that it kind of when Mike's not working or Mike not playing and he's working, he steps into that judges game and he reads all their cards blindly and it just really prefaces like this dude's a stud. This guy's awesome. And he says a pretty funny quote. They asked him, he's like, take a seat. He goes, I can't. I don't play cards. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even need to know what cards you're playing. And then he calls them all out, and it's really funny. They're playing what, stud? 7-card stud?
Yeah, they're playing stud. We know what we have. We know what we're holding, and we know what you're holding.
Like, were people playing stud over a hold'em back in the day?
Sure, there were plenty of that. Yeah, I remember like our uncles and stuff like that. Like they would have stud home games, and Texas Hold'em, although it is the Cadillac of poker, and they played the World Series of Poker. I'd say it probably didn't really become to the forefront in popularity until the poker boom in '03. Just like you're watching those. And anytime you see a cliche thing like on a '90s sitcom or something, they're playing like 5-card stud or something.
Yeah. I love stud though. Stud's a fun game. I love Raz though.
Seven stud's awesome. Raz.
I was always a Raz specialist. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Raz is just you trying to make the worst hand. It's a very specialized game, but hey, you can win bracelets at the World Series of Poker and Raz too.
Some people have eyes for it. I did. I should mention I was a child prodigy when it came to poker. I should have
was, man. Like I mean, Mike's quite a while younger than me, but he jumped into the ring with us and some of the softer tournaments and cash games, but
I'm a tournament player.
I prefer tournament poker, absolutely.
I can it's funny thing is I play poker probably once a year, and I can still shuffle chips like a G though, and it's always so funny because I mean I'm not playing real cash games here. I'm playing like we're putting in $20. Like there's nothing too crazy, maybe $50. Nothing too crazy happening. And it's always with novice, and they're always like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, like, if you can shuffle chips, like, I know people who've been playing as long as I have that can't shuffle chips.
Yeah, could shuffle chips at 8, which is funny.
It's like riding a bike, man. It's fun, and yeah, it makes you look like you know what you're doing, man. I'll shuffle chips for hours.
Yeah, I'd be shirtless playing poker with you guys when I was 8 years old, shuffling chips.
Yeah, man, just not giving up.
Anyways.
But do you want to go back to the timeline here of the movie here? Or are we just kind of moving on?
Yeah, let's get into law school. Let's talk about how this is adapted off Jacob Rossi's life.
Yeah, that's true.
I could see Rossi having a bad gambling addiction.
I mean, yeah, these days, man, it feels like everybody.
Yeah,
does.
we'll take it out and post that part. But you're right. The lawyer scene, that's where you really see this connection with probably the purest person on earth, the professor.
He's awesome.
He gets his first recognition. I will say that my only real issue with this movie is that some of these characters care about Mike McDermott so much, almost too much. Like the girlfriend is so nice to him even when she breaks up with him and like still cares about him a lot. And this professor kind of always has his back too. I mean, Mike McDermott does come off as a very genuine, nice guy.
I mean, he's charming as hell, good-looking as hell, talented as hell, smart as hell, implied. Right?
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
A lot of hope for this guy.
Yeah. Not saying that it's unbelievable, but I do think that with all the and John Turturro's character always looking out for him too, it's interesting. But you have the Worm character who's like the complete opposite of those guys. Is never looking out.
Friend.
Yeah, never looking out for Mike.
Friend, right?
Never looking out.
Yeah, sure. I agree with that. That's a good point.
Okay, so go timeline of events here.
Back into the scene, it kind of seems like they're just kind of, it's like they're just it's old times again, right? But as that's happening, his relationship's falling apart. His
War mode's 20K.
School's falling apart, and then this would be the next major plot line that you find out. While Worm is in jail, he owed a lot of money, and they imply that the juice was running, meaning, it's interest. Put it that way. He at 10K now it's 25K. He gets jumped in a bathroom by a loan shark named Grandma, who we find out later does work for Teddy KGB, right? The Russian mob. At least, he comes on with him at the end. And so, Worm's feeling like he's back, he's doing well. He gets jumped to the bathroom.
Yep.
And I think it's 10,000 stolen from him at that point, but he owes 25,
so
and that's
15K more.
That's the 15 that they're looking to make throughout in the third act. They're looking to make 15 large, I believe.
Yes, and so while this is going on, Mike McDermott's law career is going on the tubes, and his relationship with his girlfriend is also essentially over.
Yeah, and he comes to terms with it, right? Because I think his true passion in life is poker. So he's having success, and he's doing the thing, man.
There's the big scene where the lawyer, his professor, has a heart-to-heart with him, saying that his family really wanted him to become a rabbi, I believe.
Yes.
And at that point in time, he figured out that wasn't his true passion and that he actually really wanted to do law. And so he chased his dreams. And that's kind of Mike McDermott's turning point to where that seed's officially planted, where he's like, I really want to do cards for the rest of my life. And then finally, his girlfriend leaves him. And as the apartment is empty without her stuff, that's when Worm says, you need to play a card game. And they go to Atlantic City, which is a really great scene and probably highly illegal.
In the poker game of life, women are the fucking rake.
Worm, right?
That's the Worm quote. Who said that? That's a quote? I don't know. He says something like that, right?
No.
Well, there's going to be a lot of them, man. Worm just has the one-liners for days, and they're just iconic as hell. But yeah, that's also when Mike says, let's play some fucking cards, and off to Atlantic City they go. Yes.
And they meet up with their other poker friends there, and they all play at the same table. And there's a great montage of them, all of the tourists coming down and sitting at their table and just getting run clean. Really great, funny scene. And they're just such scary people. They're such degenerates. Just over-the-top degens. It's so funny.
It's absolutely. That is a great scene. And the Chesterfield, what is it? The Chesterfield South, referring to, I guess, Atlantic City being south of New York City, I guess. And, they're all there, they're playing. And, it seems like in the montage, 2 by 2, these, dudes who might as well be wearing like a shirt and some binoculars around their neck or something is coming there, just get picked off. And, they even say, like, we weren't playing together, but we weren't playing against each other either.
No, yeah, it does. He does. Tony Kanish is at the table, and that's a great scene. Things are...
you don't see him play poker at all throughout the movie except for that scene, so that's kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's just, like, usually walking around the card room, mumbling.
Tony Kanish owes rent, alimony, child support. You know, a lot of guys like that who kind of walked around the room, you wonder if these dudes fucking play. You're just like, you just card rooms, like looking for... What are you doing? Yeah, he gives off those vibes, that's for sure.
Yeah, for 100%. But yeah, really good scene there. Then plants the seed for the Johnny Chan
the master.
Yes. Yeah, plants the seed for the Johnny Chan scene that comes in later in the movie. But then they're doing really good. They're making a lot of money. However, they get a run-in with Grandma, and then they have to have a week, right, to get 15K, 10K?
I believe it's 5 days.
5 days to get 10K. They have some kind of bankroll, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, I think they put it together. They had like 1,200 or something. I mean, they really imply that they're playing some very weak games at the start. They're hitting up the golf pro game. They're hitting up this and that and the other thing, right?
Yeah, and then the golf pro game.
They can beat those games. Mike McD is a stud. He can beat those games in his fucking sleep.
The golf pro game is funny. They talk about it early on in the movie. And when you hear, you're like, I hope they go to that fucking game. It's gonna be so funny. Yeah. And then they do. But Mikey McD...
Actually, that golf pro scene sets up the big plot turning scene of the deputy game.
Yep.
Because Worm at the golf pro game, he's like, enough is enough, man. Mike folds a hand. They imply it was like a 2 or 3K pot, and that would have put him exactly where he needed to be. And Mike's just like, yo, buddy, I didn't have it. Sometimes the move's to fold.
Yeah, so, I mean, Mike McD trying to play this straight. Worm's just kind of being his, like, lackey and finding games for him. He's on the back of, like, a 24 hours straight, I think that they say, of him playing cards, and he just looks exhausted. And, yeah, they are still short about 5K heading into what Worm promises is a bunch of union workers who just got their paycheck in upstate New York.
He doesn't say they're cops, so we find out. Yeah, it's a very good scene, but I mean, it's one of my. It's like the cringe scene. It's like watching The Office, Scott's Tots. It's like my least favorite scene, while also being the best.
For sure. It's a slow train wreck in motion. They pull up.
Very well shot scene. If you want to get more of the cinematography side of it,
well,
you're right. I don't want to.
Well, yeah, this is very like shot in noir.
A lot of wide shots.
Dark.
You're seeing the eyes darting around at the table, like maybe something's going on. We didn't really get as many like long sequences of actual like poker play, so I don't know. It's just it seems a little more like intimate, and yeah, some of those wide shots you're seeing the cop to the right of Worm, just kind of really closely watching him from different angles too, in different shots. Very, 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 very cool.
Yeah. So Mikey McD goes down for a couple hours. It seems like he's doing well.
Well, hold on. Mike shows up first, right?
Yeah. And
he's beating the game by himself.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you hear Worm's voice in the background, and you're like, son of a bitch, man. This dude can never stay out of his own way. He you know.
He was supposed to go bowling.
$100, he needs to win $5,000. He's greedy as fuck, and he's a degenerate.
Yeah. You're supposed to go bowling.
What do? You introduce yourself to him. You let him sit down, and you know he's gonna do his thing. He's gonna play his game, right?
Yep. And so yeah, I think that's really fun. Is they try they set up the scene so well with the first cash game that they play is that you know how they do this, and so no words need to be spoken. There's no voiceover. You see Matt Damon's character. Pretending he doesn't know Worm, and you're like, all right, shit's about to go down. Worm sits across the table from him, and then they play cards for probably a few hours. There's a good montage of Mikey McD winning quite a bit of pots, and
it's implying that he's absolutely cooking, and this is a pretty high stake game.
As you see, there's some shots where things seem like stuff's going wrong. That one cop is kind of side eyeing him, and then
what's happening at some point in there. They're also showing how egregious Worm can be, right? He gets, I think, rolled up kings. He gets dealt 3 kings, and he folds them because he doesn't want it to be fucking obvious, right?
Yep.
So now you're really seeing how the game works. It's not just like, I got the cards, I'm gonna win. Nah, man, they're smarter than that. They're setting them up. They're playing off each other. And even even Mike McD was kind of surprised at some of the chops up to that point. Like wow, dude, like I got to be careful.
100%. And then they catch him, right? Do you want to take that?
I mean, essentially, this is finally, we got to the mechanic. The mechanic's grip is what you refer to it as. A mechanic is slang in that culture for someone who cheats, who base steals, who rigs the deck, who doesn't play the game straight up. And to get even more into it, yeah, it's stealing off the bottom of the deck. And what's this? He grabs his wrist. He caught a hanger, Sarge. What's a hanger? That's when you're pulling these cards up rapid fire, trying to manipulate the deck, make it look like how you're doing it, and you literally a card gets caught. Where if you were dealing normally, a card wouldn't do that. You get a card kind of hanging out, sticking out in a weird spot, and that guy they're implying he was keeping a close eye on him, and they catch him, and at that point they think everything that happened was completely bullshit, and they get their asses kicked and all their money taken.
Yeah, and wait, Damon flips over. They make Damon flip over his cards, right? What does he have?
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good too. It's like, all right, let's let the deck speak for itself. You say the 7 didn't help you. Oh, the next card was a 7. You would have had 3 7s in an ace, and now we're really starting to build the suspense. And what does he say? Okay, let's see the bottom of the deck, and that's when Worm was really just like, I'm fucked. They turn that over, and the ace of spades, I believe, is sitting on the bottom of the deck.
Yes.
So 7's full of aces. Like, incredible hand 7-card stud.
Yeah. And then they get their asses kicked.
They just get destroyed. I mean, they're getting kicked on the ground. They're getting punched in the teeth. They imply they took all their money. So anything they would have made, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking they probably lost 15, 20 grand, maybe.
Yeah. I think the funny thing is that this just really shows how big of a degenerate Worm is that he would do in front of cops, a room full of cops.
He couldn't even just like curtail it a little bit, maybe bring it back a little bit. Like you had the money, you had enough money where you're safe and you're not gonna die, but you still want more money. You were still that greedy.
Yep, absolutely. And
which is crazy, man. Hey, I mean, I guess that's addiction.
yeah, and then
Yeah, they get their asses kicked, thrown out, and I'm gonna do it again. Another one of my favorite Worm quotes. They're sitting there, they're bleeding out. I mean, they just lost more money than people make in a month or whatever. And he just goes, "Hey, Mike, you should have played those Kings, Mike." Referring to the Kings that he folded to try to keep it not look too obvious. He just should have played those Kings, Mike. That's one of the last quotes that Worm says the rest of the movie. He vanishes, right?
Yes, Worm.
Now he owes that debt, and he knows that he's more liable to just to get killed.
Yeah. Now, ultimate degen move. He finishes it, and he decides to skip out of town, and just basically never be seen from again. Is what his plan is.
Yeah.
He
wants leaving it for Mike. And man, I mean, if you really want to hear about the degen side of Worm, there you go.
Yeah.
He just leaves him hanging.
Leaves him hanging. Mike he still owes 10K, right? Or 15?
Well, yeah, he owes 15 at this point.
15, because
15. What's the first thing he does? He goes to Joey Knish. That's the obvious move. And Joey, what's the story there with Joey? Joey doesn't give it to him. He says he doesn't want to give him the easy way out this time. He doesn't. Yeah. He says he doesn't do it for him.
He essentially says A, he doesn't have the money, but B, you need to learn. Yeah, and so he pushes back. He says you need to learn. He's kind of his older brother, and he thinks he's doing what's best for him. And also at the end of the day, he also says he doesn't have the money. That's when he does that rent line with you
yes. Yeah, I owe rent, alimony, child support.
Yeah.
And Mike gets mad. Mike pushes back. Mike's just like, this is why you never took your chances, man. You know what I mean? Like this kind of he almost just calls him like a failure. Like, you never took your chances. I'm taking my chances. Look at me,
Yeah, 100%.
Interesting scene. Joey Knish is a great character. That's a pretty cool scene.
And then he turns to the lawyer, which is crazy.
His absolute guardian angel.
Yeah, he dropped out of school officially, goes to his...
Dropped out of school, longtime girlfriend implied is gone.
Yep. And he goes and talks to his professor, who's always been cool with him, and his professor gets it. He kind of apologizes a little bit for the scene where he tells him to chase his dreams, but then he does understand it, and he's like, Michael, I can give you 10K. It's really, really...
Yeah.
Really, really cute scene. He says he can keep it, but he's just like, get your life together type shit.
Absolutely. Awesome scene. But he needs 15K.
He needs 15.
Man,
I can do 10.
I can do 10. He even says I'm not rich, but I mean, I suppose he's not.
No.
10K at the drop of a hat and never worry about it again. Rich.
Yeah.
So now he's got his 10K, right? Mike McDee's got his 10K.
Got his 10K.
He needs 15 or he's still liable for some trouble.
And then it sets up, where we started. Going back to KGB's place with 10K in his pocket, not 30K this time, but 10K in his pocket. And he owes KGB 15K at midnight. I think it's 9 o'clock. And he's going to try to win it back.
I think he literally says, yeah, well, I don't give a shit what you do. You got 8 more hours.
Yeah. Like
Buckner walking back into the Shea.
And I got to use that quote last week.
This is where the worst moment of his life happened. He walked in there with the intention to sit down with Teddy KGB, heads up one more time just at the start of the movie. He had 10. He needs 15. He didn't even imply that he thinks his life would be in danger if he didn't come up with this 15.
Yeah, Russian mobsters are at him.
Sure.
And so...
I think there's cops out there somewhere that might step in, but yeah, I mean, it's some pretty serious shit.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it sets up, KGB's like, F it, I'm going to play heads up with you, so give me 10K. And they play heads up. And McDermott...
They agree that they're going to play till everyone has... One of the players has all the chips, so implying a cash game where that's 10,000 a piece, but tournament style. Someone's gonna walk away with 20 grand, someone's going to lose 10K.
Yeah, and I forgot a crucial scene. He tells Tony Knish the story of him bluffing Johnny Chan.
Ah.
And
I guess that would be before this. He does tell. Yeah, and to me that was kind of weird because he literally was just trying to tell you like, I beat Johnny Chan in this one pot. I stood up to the 1988 World Series of Poker champion, and because of that, now I have my chest puffed out. Now I think I can do it. Now I can, that one hand, whatever. Okay, that was cinema. That was built up a little bit. That was played up a little bit. That is a big scene. That is a very big scene.
Well, it doesn't also necessarily have to be true.
That's true too.
It could be him.
He thinks that.
It could be.
He gave himself the confidence, right? He always had the game. Now he's got the confidence. Great. Good call.
I also thought that he could be trying to con Tony Kanish too. He's desperate.
Okay.
He's desperate.
So from that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I mean, I truly do think it happened because he references it one more time later on in the movie. But I do think that there was a part of me that also thinks that he may have just been trying to con Tony Kanish. But
I'm sorry, John, I don't remember.
There's a lot of flashbacks to poker scenes, which is interesting. You see Phil Hellmuth, right, win off Siddell.
Well, it's the 1988 World Series of Poker. Wait, that's Johnny Chan. That's Johnny Chan, the master. He beat Eric Seidel in the 88 World Series. Heads up.
There's not a Hellmuth scene too.
I don't think there's a Hellmuth scene. They do mention Phil Hellmuth. They're talking about the greats of the game. I think he says Doyle Brunson, Amarillo, Slim Preston, Phil Hellmuth. Phil Hellmuth gets name dropped in this film.
Yeah.
He won the
99? 1989?
89 World Series. He would have won the next year. So 9 years later, I guess that makes sense. I mean, Hellmuth is considered the tournament GOAT. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all times. So yeah, Hellmuth does get referenced in this movie. I don't think we see a Hellmuth though. We don't see Hellmuth. Or do we? Is there a scene where he's like kind of celebrating jumping? Or now am I just remembering him actually winning it? I don't know.
No, because he beat Johnny Chan. I didn't realize that Johnny Chan almost won 3 straight years in a row.
Yeah,
crazy.
Those fields were a lot smaller, but they were a little bigger at that point, right?
152, 167, 178, 87 through 89.
I mean, it started off with like 20 people, right? 10? I don't know, something crazy.
I think like 7.
But yeah, Famke Janssen, who's the girl who works at Chesterfield, the girl, she comes, he's watching the 88 World Series of Poker.
Yes, you're right.
Like just fast forwarding and rewinding the World Series of 88 World Series of Johnny Chan.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, that's. Maybe Stu Unger gets name dropped. Stu Unger, Doyle Brunson, Phil Hellmuth. I want to say maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, Emerald Slim because he's a prop better, right?
The love letter to poker, man. You're getting all of it. It's crazy that this is this movie from '98. I feel like it should be 2008.
Well, I know that's the weird thing.
In terms of like, how like they bring it to the poker to the mainstream almost, or at least what they could have done.
Because it just had so much cultural impact, though. Like this became the culture. This was, it feels like it was made, but because the culture came from it, it's like,
Like, I mean, I feel like maybe you saw the World Series of Poker, on TV in 2003, but then once you started getting into it, started playing. This movie followed, and they just kind of coincided, went hand in hand, boosted each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this movie became like, the Bible, like for poker players.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
At least millennial poker players.
Yeah. All right. So KGB.
So now we're into the climax of the movie. This is one of my favorite scenes ever. This is great. This is good stuff here.
High stakes. I kind of forgot there was a buy-in. So McDermott just kind of takes him down the first time for 10K right off the rip.
They kind of showed that he won pretty easily, right? Like he won the 20K. Like he won 20K. So that's implying that he just won 10K and he had 10K. So that's 20K sitting there. And I think he says, once I pay the KGB their money and I pay back the the judge and stuff like that, he'd still have, $5,000 or whatever. So he implies like he did it. There's nothing more he has to do.
Yeah, and it's pretty like quick. And it's been a while since I saw it, and I was like, wait, there's more here, right? But then KGB basically starts calling him a bitch and is like, I'm still 20K up on you, right? I'm still 20K up on you.
I stick it in you.
Yes.
He says, hey, you're just taking the money that I won from you originally, which just brings us back to the first scene. He only won 10 of that 20 back, right?
10 of the 30. So he's still down 20K.
He only won 10 of the 30 back, right? So he's still down 20K, and he implies that. and he's chirping his ass. And boy, Mike McD, man, he's got an ego on him. He didn't stand for it.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, Mr. Son of Bitch, let's play some cards.
And so they bring out 20K each, and they do the same thing again. I think at the end of the day, these guys are just such degenerates. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, right. Because, like, literally, I guess at this point, Mike kind of threw it all down the drain. But at this point, it's literally implying that if you lose this heads-up match, which you've done before, that you could literally die, and that's it.
Yeah, like...
In one way. Like, I was kind of sitting there last night watching, like, isn't that just kind of, like, funny? Like
yeah.
These guys do not care.
No.
Like, Worm was a big enough DJ, and he literally just ran out of town, and now Mike's there just being an absolute DJ himself.
Yeah.
And
yeah, everything's resolved.
So now we're playing 20K heads up, right?
20K heads up. I think there's 2 hours left. I think this is when they say there's 2 hours left.
Yeah. So it's now or never.
And he loses a couple hands.
Well, the crucial thing now is we are getting set up on. We can do any kind of spoilers, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So the Oreos, right? The Oreos.
Yes.
Play a prominent role
Yes.
in the beginning of the film. He's
Yes.
chewing on these Oreos.
Yes.
They don't necessarily say what the Oreos mean. It just kind of seems like a weird, kind of quirky thing that Teddy KGB does while he plays poker. Dude's munching on Oreos between hands before he makes plays, whatever. Well, and I think this is the game. Or maybe it was the game before. Regardless.
Nope. It's the second game.
It's the second game where he finally spots the
because I was super confused because I was like, dude, the Oreo scene hasn't happened. They must do it again. Because I forgot that they rebuy in. So yeah, you're right. It's the second game.
He spots the tell. And a tell is something that you are accidentally doing at the table. You're touching your face. You're looking directly at your chips as soon as you have a good hand. Before you bet whatever. And he spots. I haven't played my whole life. You're not spotting tells all the time. It's an intricate part of the game. It's a very advanced part of the game. But if you spot someone's fucking tell and you're in that spot, man, that's a fucking home run. He even says I can sit there all night and let him fucking blow all his fucking money to me, but he didn't have fucking time for that. And he exploited it and went right for it in that moment. And then to get into what the actual tell was, Teddy would grab an Oreo. He'd stick it to his ear, and he'd put it back when he did not have a hand. Teddy would grab an Oreo. He'd hold it in front of his face. He'd separate it. He'd eat it. He eat the Oreo. That means fold. He has a monster hand. He didn't eat the Oreo. He does not have a hand. That's a little...
Hollywood?
I don't know. A little Hollywood. I'd say it's a little elementary, I guess. That's not, But I think you needed something that a regular Joe could pick up on and spot and kind of realize it's going on.
It's iconic.
Those tells are not going to be that obvious. Yeah, iconic with the Oreos. Yeah.
It's iconic with the... So, yes, this is a bad poker scene, great movie scene, right? Because, like...
I agree,
yes.
right. But the first hour 45, you give him the benefit of the doubt and let him have the Hollywood moment with Matt Damon and John friggin' Malkovich, right?
Yes, and I think what's really cool is it's a fucking baller fucking tell, though. Like the opening scene when he has the aces and he slowly eats that Oreo and calls.
That's true. Like, it's not like, oh, he must have a good hand. No, he has the Nutter Butters, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was, it's Hollywood, but the way that they do it, the way that it's a callback from an hour and 45 in the movie is sick, right? And,
very much so.
And the way the cinematography is, I think, I can't remember the first time I watched this movie, but I think if you just watch this movie for the first time, you would pick up on the tell, the way that they shoot it, right? Because it's shot...
It's a close-up,
Yeah, it's shot from his POV. You see his eyes, like, darting to the Oreos, to his mouth and stuff, so it's done very well. A traditional tell, I don't know, my tell was I would touch my face when I had a big hand, right? I would like, get itchy when I had a big hand. And so
that's one of the most reliable tells to this day. Hopefully they don't listen to this podcast. I have someone that I know. I won't say if they're a friend or acquaintance. I played with them 20 years ago. I played with them somewhat recently. They still have the same exact tell, touching their friggin' face, and they have a good hand. And it's to the point where I've never said anything. Like, you know what? We'll leave it there.
Well, I'll edit this out here. Was it? Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll get back into it. I think they needed to do something with tells though, because I imagine, dude, I will never play Texas Hold'em in Vegas at one of those tables because, dude, there's card sharks there. I don't know if I'm scared of rounders, but it's like even the lower stakes that I would play, I feel like I'd get chewed alive. I'm not a good cash game player. I'm a much better tournament player. But I'm just scared of like other tells that I could potentially have. And even Phil Locke, one of the, most famous poker players in the early 2000s, he would put glasses on and his sweatshirt on, right? Because he had tells and he was so scared of giving tells.
Absolutely. That is 100% true. The cliche thing is, the novice wearing the sunglasses at the table trying to look cool and stuff like that. It plays a purpose.
Phil Hellmuth, right?
I don't claim to be the greatest tell reader, but I've spotted tells, and it's true. You watch your opponent. If you're good at reading somebody, I mean, it's kind of like
it's like tipping pitches in baseball.
It's like this. It's the secret weapon, man. It really is. You're not playing the game. You're playing the player, and for some people, yeah, it can be like with the Unabomber, Phil Locke. He used to wear a raincoat. His neck wouldn't show. They were afraid of some of the veins on their neck, getting bigger or something when you had a monster hand.
Flight or fight system, man. Like you get that rush of adrenaline when something good happens. Like if I look down at aces, my heart's racing. I'm sure. If you have a predominant vein, I'm sure you could see it.
Absolutely. You get quiet. They say weak is strong, strong is weak. They say when a player looks down at their chips without thinking, that's like one of the ultimate tells, like that they're going to bet, like they have a big hand, even if they, whatever. David Sklansky, the book on tells, that's one thing I loved about it. They kind of show he is like Doyle Brunson's super system. It's kind of like a cliche, kind of like, that's like his...
You own Doyle Brunson's super system, though.
I've read Doyle Brunson's super system 1 and 2, yeah, of course.
Is it...
I own the original.
Is the super system just garbage, though, at this point?
It's probably yeah. Well, actually, yes. The super system would not hold up now.
Because
that thing was probably outdated. When I was reading in 2003, it felt outdated and old. But and I think that's more of like the love letter to poker where I keep bringing up. That's like, that's for the shot. You got Doyle Brunson's super system. You got, as his girlfriend says, the gangster roll. You got he's a poker guy. You got some loose chips.
No, absolutely. But I think it's funny, though, that, like, all of these things that they talk about ended up kind of happening. Like, people were buying Doyle Brunson's super system.
I was going to Barnes & Noble as a 6-year-old to buy Doyle Brunson's super system with, that.
And it wasn't because of rounders. It was because of Chris Moneymaker,
Yeah, Chris yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
It's so ahead of its time. It was meant to be. They worked hand in hand.
Absolutely. So, anyways, the tell scene, I hate it from a poker perspective. I love it from a cinematic perspective. It's iconic as all hell. It's awesome. And I love the fact that he's like, I could sit here all night and whatever, but I don't have time for that. I could sit here all night and drain his pot, basically, but I don't have time for that. So he tells...
Every dollar he has.
Yeah.
He could be greedy as fuck, but he's a man on a mission, and he's,
And essentially, Damon folds kings, right?
I'm going to lay this down, Teddy. This is a really, really big hand. Something to that extent.
He's got kings and aces on the flop.
What is the hand? Wow, why am I drawing a blank on the actual hand? But he lays that. But that's when Teddy really gets set off. He really goes on tilt here. Lay down, a monster. The fuck you lay that down for? You should have paid me off on that. That's when we get the okay, Mr. Son of a bitch. Let's play some fucking cards.
Yeah, because at that point, Damon's not doing great. And the second heads-up game starts going a little south for him, and that's kind of the turning point. KGB throws his Oreos against the wall.
Yeah.
And
that's it. I guess the Oreos are gone at that point. But, he said, but I think at that point he implies, he goes, I already chopped out one of his legs. Now all I got to do is lean on him. He knew he had his man where he needed him. And in fact, to really wrap it up there, like, that scene early, Yeah, the weird kind of thing is, like, you know, at that point, I think he already thought he had him beat. Like, the actual final hand is kind of anticlimactic, right? He flops the nuts straight and just lets him fucking bet into him, just go crazy, and that's it.
Yeah, and I actually really like that because, you know, playing heads up poker, it's kind of usually unceremonial, the ending, right? It's like once you get the stack, you start
You're right.
you start pushing him around. Matt Damon talks about that before it starts, right? He's like heads. I forget the exact quote, but it's like heads up poker. It's like once you get the stack lead, then you start pushing them around essentially. And so yeah,
I already cut out one of his legs. Now all I got to do is lean on.
exactly. So fairly unceremonial. But then you get the classic line, "Pay the man his money."
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
John Malkovich is not in this movie as much as I remember him being.
True.
But essentially every single one of KGB lines is endlessly quotable. It's crazy. It's great. He's probably in it for 15 minutes.
And it's an ode to the consummate professional who is John Malkovich, but also he is playing such an over-the-top, cartoonish, maybe semi-offensive caricature of a Russian mob boss, where it's almost like you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I could see some of the more snotty film critics of the time just hating that character.
The movie's campy, man. I'm not here to say it's not campy. It is.
At times.
At times. But it's a cult movie, and I think that's where it found its niche and why it works so well is that you can gloss over a couple of the cinematic liberties that they took here, and KGB's over-the-top accent, which is maybe offensive in 2025. It works. It works super well. John Malkovich is also just like the man. That's the thing. Like, they have such great character actors in this movie that it just like Ed Norton, John Turturro, and John Malkovich are such great character actors. And then you have Matt Damon at the top of his A-list, good-looking, but bursting onto the scene. The cast is just incredible. But yeah, pay the man his money.
That's probably why I kind of flopped in a way. Like, I mean, you had this at the time, maybe being a little let down in some ways. I guess. I mean, that's why the cult status really kind of is everything for this film.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then that scene happens. Iconic, gets his money, and then he makes good on everybody.
He even sees the girlfriend at the end.
They have a really nice, cute convo where she's...
Call me if you ever need a lawyer.
Yeah.
Don't call me. We're done, but call me if you need a lawyer.
Yeah, which just adds to that. I just loved that character. She was awesome. She was super great.
She was definitely better than I remember. She's more of a patient sweetheart than she is the nagging wife. Way more respect here watching it.
And lastly, pays everyone back. Then he hops on a car and drives to Vegas, where he says that he's going to chase his dreams. He's got, I think...
Literally, point blank says he is going to play in the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that he says, I'm going to play in the World Series of Poker. It's not, I'm going to Vegas. It's, I'm going to the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, there's no implication. Let it be known. Mike McD is chasing his dream.
Now, let's see. So he got $20K, doubled that. So he got $40K.
He talks through? Yeah, so.
Pays, he does talk through it. Pays KGB 15. Pays, and he even says, I consider me and Worm even, which is just like, he's such a good friend to Worm.
He's right back where he started, 3 stacks of high society.
You're right. He walks away with 30K.
Which is just perfect. That's poetry.
And he drives saying he's going to play in the World Series of Poker. First place is $1 million.
The main event of the World Series of Poker is 10. Yeah, that's kind of $1 million.
Yeah.
Whoa,
10K.
Serious stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, obviously, you probably wouldn't want to put a 30-year bankroll in the main event, but yeah, he's got 30K. He's back. I never thought he'd get that money back again. He's taking 10K. He's playing in the main event.
Well,
and boy, oh boy, does that leave the chance at a sequel. I mean, let's be honest.
Did you look into it?
I did. I actually have not a lot on the sequel, but I feel like I could sit here and do a half hour on like some stuff about the sequel.
Oh, really?
It's a year ago.
Wait,
it was.
we read the same Hollywood Reporter article. Did you read the same article as me?
I think so. Where
They asked.
they both said that, I think, was Ed Norton in an interview said that he brings up that would be a movie that he'd be open to doing, that they all would like to do it.
Yeah. So I don't. So the article I read, someone end of July last year goes, Matt, what movie have you made that you would like to do a sequel of? And he started laughing. He goes, funny you bring this up. I actually bumped into Ed Norton 2 weeks ago when we were both talking about how badly we want to do Rounders 2. The article goes on to say that basically the screenplay, and I remember there being a lot of chatter for this back in the day, but the screenplay had been written and finalized in 2015. The issue is this is a Miramax movie, and I guess Harvey Weinstein, who owned Miramax, owned the movie, the rights to the movie, and now that he's in prison, I think he's in prison, whatever, Miramax is like got sold for parts, and Matt Damon's like, I don't even know who owns the right to Rounders. So that's the biggest holdup.
I did see that where they're like, we don't know who's responsible for what now. Yeah.
Exactly. But they all want to do it. I cannot believe this movie hasn't been made yet.
Yeah, and I feel like they're missing out on money. Like now we're late, right? Like 2015, you said, yeah, that would have made a whole lot more sense. I think it still would do really good. I think it would be a box office smash.
I think in 2007, this movie might have grossed like an insane amount of money, though. Like in 2007, it might have made like $300 million. I don't know if that much. 200 million?
That's kind of the number I had in mind. I guess it's making hundreds of millions of dollars if it were to come out in the right time period.
Yeah, but now I mean, I still think it would make money.
2015 would make a hell of a lot more sense than 10 years later.
Yeah.
And then I do want to say this. ESPN had a show called Tilt, which was essentially a series pretty much based on this kind of stuff, showing the dark side of the poker world. I think he was more of a professional in Vegas, but it might even had some guys that worked for Rounders doing some stuff on this, if I recall.
I remember Tilt. Was Tilt good?
But we got, whatever. Lived. I think it premiered after, a World Series of Poker, and I wanted to look this up before we did this, but mid to late 2000s, ESPN did capitalize to some degree. It's called Tilt ESPN show.
9 episodes, 2005. So yeah, right in the middle of the poker boom.
I mean, yeah. So that was,
I think what was the football TV show they had? ESPN. ESPN tried to make TV shows.
Similar, very, maybe even after that TV show, Playmakers.
The NFL.
The dirty side of the NFL: steroids, gambling, openly or not. A player in the closet,
In the first paragraph, it says
they kind of did have their edgy run, Disney, right?
Yeah, and in the first paragraph, it says the series first aired on January 13th, 2005, and is the second original drama series following Playmakers. So there you go. Oh wait, and it was done by the same people that did Rounders. There you go. So I mean,
see, well, there you go. I think I thought that could have been the case. So yeah, they got the dudes who did Rounders to do that. So there you go.
Yep.
I mean, sure. Now we're almost 20 years from that. I think we could definitely get a movie now. But yeah, so there you go. That kind of.
They also wrote Ocean's 13. How about that? So I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of sense.
Like it's got that vibe.
I keep thinking how cool it would be today to have a now like a young millennial Mike McD. I was thinking who would play 30 years later? Who would play Mike McD? Obviously, the sequel would probably be them coming back, the A-list power. But who would be a good Mike McD?
Like a spiritual remake.
Yeah, like if there was a reboot, who would be Mike McD? Who would be Worm? I couldn't really come up with any good ones. I think I'd probably go with more of an unknown from a TV show or something somewhere. Only one I can really come up with is like Miles Teller.
Not young enough though, right? I mean,
yeah, he's 38, so not young enough. But I mean, I like to tie in that he's my age. He's a millennial.
That's true. So, 10 years ago, Miles Teller in 2015 would have been awesome.
Yeah. You could have what's his name, Jeremy, whatever from The Bear. Jeremy Allen White. He could be a worm, right? You know.
Oh, actually, dude, he could have played such a good worm. Holy hell.
Right? If you want to go with like the elder, like millennial, like vibe, and then obviously playing the part of Johnny Chan, Phil Ivey. Every millennial's Johnny Chan. He was my Johnny Chan, the cult hero. You know, when people ask me my role model when I was 18, I'd say Phil Ivey, which is hilarious if you really think about it.
Well, you did what was the thing, like the people you want to meet in heaven?
Three people dead or alive, celebrities dead or alive to have dinner with. Dave Chappelle, Tupac Shakur, and Phil Ivey.
That's the most 2003 answer ever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually, it only been like 05, but fair enough.
This looks pretty good. I mean, it'd be a good convo.
That'd be a great convo.
Ready for this? I asked ChatGPT. I was curious what they would say. All right. This is hilarious, and the most. I don't hate this. They say Mike McDermott would be played by Timothy Chalamet.
That was the cliche one, and he actually is the same age that Matt Damon was when he filmed it.
There you go.
Okay, but isn't that just like so clear? Like
yeah, this is AI coming up with it. This is not creative. Barry Keoghan playing the worm, which is actually like makes a lot of sense. That's really good, actually. He's grungy as hell.
I don't hate that.
It gets better. Care to guess who who's playing Gretchen Mole's character?
Don't say Sydney Sweeney.
No, this one actually makes sense. Florence Pugh. Looks like her.
I love Florence Pugh. Okay, you know what? God, that's really good.
It gets better. It gets better. Teddy KBG is played by Mads Mikkelsen, which is really good casting, actually.
Mads Mikkelsen. Oh, I can see.
That would be great. That would be great. He'd be awesome. And then
all over that.
And then ready for this? Mike's law professor. This is fucking hilarious. Ready for this?
Larry David.
No.
Larry fucking David. Well, it should be Larry David. Who do they say?
Mark Rylance.
Mark Rylance. I guess that's just going for like he looks like him.
He could sniffle through it. He won an Oscar.
Joey Knish.
Yeah, that's the last one I got. Care to guess?
Joey Knish. Let's think. Mark Ruffalo? I don't know.
You're not far off, actually. You're the right age. One of my favorite actors.
Ethan Hawke.
No, but Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. You know what? Okay.
It's not bad. It feels like that's what like an 8th grader would do if he watched Rounders and it was like, hey, cast this movie.
Yeah, we could do better.
We could do.
I definitely want Phil Ivey in that intimidated, fucking just glorified role of Johnny Chan.
Well, for sure.
Even at the time, Johnny Chan kind of felt like a has-been watching that shit in 03. You know?
Yeah.
We were like 15 years removed from his first one. And
I kind of love it though, cause like Johnny Chan, I was.
I mean, that would be the guy he idolized. He won, 3 World Series of Pokers and.
I was reading his Wikipedia page. Johnny Chan is the man. Like crazy.
I mean, it's a perfect guy to get. Don't get me wrong. Imagine it was Phil Hellmuth instead.
Oh, we would never hear the end of it. He would still be talking about it. Never. Thank God it wasn't. I can dodge bullets, baby. He would literally just be talking about Rounders at the table. Yeah, me and Matt. He'd be dropping Matt Damon left and right. All right.
Pretty sure Matt Damon played in a World Series of Poker or two. They became poker players.
He played in World Series of Poker, I believe, like before the poker boom, like in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah. Should have been to market the movie, honestly. But there had to be high hope for that movie, right? I mean, it was pretty much a flop domestically. Like, I mean, right? I mean, but the writing's on the wall where, you know, at least a 64. It was fresh in Rotten Tomatoes. So that's saying something. When you guessed lower, I would have guessed lower, just from kind of just like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just context clues, what you hear about it, how it just had such a cult following and didn't do too well at the time, especially compared to the cast they had.
I agree. I would say that it did okay. It premiered at Venice. Like, it's kind of weird, like, now watching it, now knowing what I know about movies, like, it made sense that this movie, they were going for it. And I don't know, it's weird.
It's kind of weird if you didn't really know anything and then you woke up like 20 years later and you said, Rounders was nominated for Best Original Screenplay in 1998. You'd be like, okay, cool, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. So I was going through my notes here of what I wrote. One bullet point is just Buckner walking into Shay, which is such a good quote. Yeah. I didn't know that was...
I dropped that the other day, like in a group chat or something. I was cracking up to myself. That's so good. Like, it's just such a passing line, too. Like, Buckner walking back into Shay.
I used that quote. I forgot it was from this movie. That's such a good quote. Like, Buckner walking back into Shay. It's awesome.
I do remember where it was from, but yeah, it's I'm not sure if it's like a part of pop culture, but it's definitely a line that I use. Yeah.
It's funny as hell. I said, is this loosely based off the Jacob Rossi story, ? What else I got here? Oh, Good Will Hunting comparison. This came out a year after Good Will Hunting. The similarities are wild, right? Obviously, star the same character.
That's what's like hilarious. Like, he would have started filming this movie like literally like the same month that he won his Academy Award, like around the same time.
Probably before, right? Like,
I think it was filmed in the winter of 97 into 98.
So yeah,
when the Academy Awards would have held for 97's.
Yeah. So he was already Good Will Hunting. Storm was probably already starting, but it's funny how like this was basically the first thing he did off the back of it, right? He's that hot new Hollywood actor. Yeah. And it's funny how much similarities this are. Ed Norton and Ben Affleck's character, just like his best friend who is just kind of a dirtbag holding him back, has a mentor character, John Turturro, Robin Williams' character. There's a love interest who he keeps messing stuff up with. He's this boy genius. And then the movie ends with him going in a car and driving out west.
Pretty funny, man. I wonder if he knew that Good Will Hunting was going to be as big a success as it was. If he would have chose Rounders to piggyback off of. I'll tell you what, Miramax was licking their chops.
Dude, the same shot to end it. He's driving out west and on a freeway.
That's a good point. That's actually hilarious.
If I can figure out how to copy and paste that, I may post the side-by-side of both ending movies. Like, it's legitimately the same.
Glitch in the Matrix type stuff here.
100%. 100%. But, that's kind of, I said everything.
To show you, this movie, Good Will Hunting, won for Best Original Screenplay. This could have been a little more respected.
It could have. It could have been. I mean, it got its due, right? I mean, this movie's.
It lives in cult status forever. It did. It eventually got its due. I'd like to see what movie led in DVD sales spike from '98 to like 2008. Like the spike had to be just insane. You probably couldn't find a copy at any resell CD warehouse type place anywhere in the United States.
Well, you did make two comments yesterday saying this is probably the movie I watch most in the last 20 years, and then you also said I own two of these DVDs, and yet I can't figure out how to play one.
I own two DVDs. One's like the extra. They did one where like Johnny Chan came and did commentary and like they gave poker tips. So that was pretty cool.
Oh.
You know, like they used to do, like they relaunched a collector's edition.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For sure.
I definitely have a couple of those DVDs somewhere, but it's 2025, alas. You ain't watching a DVD unless you like, pull some dark magic.
So I will say this. Rounders made $22.9 million theatrically. Estimated DVD sales were 20 million. So it pretty much did about the same.
Okay. To this day, it's made $20 million in DVD sales, you're saying?
That's what ChatGPT says. So I don't know. ChatGPT kind of just makes stuff up.
Is that a lot? I mean,
Well, the first DVD, it first got re-released, which makes sense, September 7th, 2004 on DVD.
That's hilarious.
With another edition in 2011, the blue.
That was a big deal. That one. I mean, it was a red cover as opposed to a black cover.
I mean, we have the black one, right? I can see it in my head.
Yeah, the black one.
Yeah.
We have the black. We have the OG, and then I bought the copy.
Came out on Blu-ray in 2021, a little later than you would think. All right, Chuck. Anything else? All my notes are gone.
Yeah, I took some notes and I kind of am doing a little look over. I don't got much to add. I think we had a pretty extensive discussion. I think that was fun to revisit the poker scene, man. That was some good stuff right there.
Yeah, I'm very fun rewind here. Very fun movie. If you've never seen it, like I said, I think pretty much everyone would like it. I doubt you made it this far without ever watching Rounders.
God, if
you're a psycho. You're a psycho. Jacob Rossi, turn off this podcast.
Exactly.
The Coppola Pinot Noir was very, very good. I want to go to his winery. It's like 30 minutes from me. It's 30 minutes.
Really?
From me. Yeah.
Well, you don't have any excuse.
I have no excuse. I already rewind his wine, which is unfortunate. I like Pinot.
Do you want to give a grade or any about it or anything?
I would buy it again. It was the Pinot. It wasn't the director's cut. There's a director's cut that's a little bit more expensive. So I will rate the wine here. The Francis Ford Coppola Pinot Noir 2023. Very, very, very good. I would drink it again. I'm a big Pinot fan, though. That's probably my wine of choice, so a little bias. Rounders, to sum it all up, it had been about 15 years. I had seen a shit ton of movies between now and then. And honestly, this nostalgia factor I thought would be high with this movie. But man, it lived up to the hype. Like this is actually a good ass movie. Like if I saw this movie in 2025, I would probably think it's corny because of everything that's happened in the world of poker. But other than that, like it's just a very, very good movie. It's just badass. It makes sense. It's a cult classic for a reason. Like it's got everything you want. And yeah, it really does live up to the test of time. It works on many different levels. Yeah, I'm super happy that we got to rewatch it.
A love letter to poker. That's how I can sum it up. Honestly, to your point, this movie would probably be in my top 5 or top 10 in the last few years of films. I mean, it probably would. I mean, I think it holds up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If this movie never existed and it came out in 2015, you'd still be infatuated with it.
God, absolutely. Especially with that cast. I mean,
yeah. That cast in 2015 would have been awesome. That cast in 2025 is still awesome. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, thanks for having me on. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So rewinds, we're going to try to do in the middle of the month, kind of just like this, something that's topical, something that's fun to talk about. Chuck, thanks for being on. Follow, subscribe, Movie Rebrew on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts, we're available. Leave a comment. I don't know. Liz left a comment last time. I responded. Good guy, Mike. But that's really it. Chuck, thank you, man.
You are welcome. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right.
It was a blast.
Shout out to Keegan. I miss you. Love the holy smokes. Take us out. Peace.